Hey, welcome back to Carlo Cruza MMA. Today, my special guest is a mixed martial artist. He also goes in there and does a little bare knuckle fighting. He's fighting next week, and I've heard he's the life of the party. So, with that, let's introduce Mr. Joe, the party, Penafiel. Joe, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing very well here. We just had a hurricane pass here through Florida, and but everything's nice and pretty. It's not as hot as usual, so that's a blessing in disguise. Even though the hurricane hopefully doesn't damage any properties or any homes, but we're geared up. We're basically on fight week, 6 days out. Um, I'm here with my kids. I'm taking the weekend off to kind of like let my body heal and also just rejuvenate a little bit. I'm a little sore. Put a lot of miles and a lot of work into this fight camp, so I'm just ready. I fight year round. This will be my fifth fight this year, so most fighters may get one or two or even three. That's a lot for them, but I stay active.
So, Joe, you've been doing this for quite some time. How did you get into the world of mixed martial arts and fighting in general?
I will always say that I guess I got my introduction through wrestling. I started competing in wrestling at like a young age when I was about in ninth grade when I first found out about it. Um, just due to luck or whatever, my coach fought a few professional fights. My high school wrestling coach, and he led me towards a path. He talked to a guy named Seth Petrozelli, which is a guy from Orlando. He's fought in the UFC and did a couple things, and he was basically that was my first gym that I went to. And him and the co-owner of the gym really helped me out, and I would teach wrestling in exchange for martial arts training. So that's where I first began. I really didn't have anything else better to do, and I thought my competition side of life would be over after wrestling and a little bit in college. But I found MMA and I fell in love with the whole like trying to win and just the aspect of competing. I guess some of us wrestlers really love that. Like I love to compete. So that's the biggest thing. It got me wrestling got me into MMA and life in general, and lack of options in a way.
A lot of people still don't realize that MMA is still such a newly culturally accepted sport. Back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, the scene wasn't, it was not like what it is today. Do you have any crazy fight stories of fighting at any promotions where they may not have even done weigh-ins, the conditions were bad? Do you have anything crazy?
Oh man. You know what the craziest thing? I was a part of like almost the new wave of like the Florida State Commission really like taking care of the amateur fighters. Amateur fighter fighting wasn't even really a thing um till I guess till 2010 or I don't even know when in the state of Florida. Um but the craziest story I could give you is one time I went to Key West as an amateur. Me and my friend Jamie and a couple other guys. Jamie was in she was a part of the Ultimate Fighter cast. But yeah, we were there and literally like a few minutes before where my heavyweight friend was walking out to fight, it started to rain, but we're in Key West and it just so happened that the cage was set outside. So they asked my friend, I'm not even kidding, it's fucking crazy. It was like a regular day, but in Florida, like in the summer, it could rain. It could be sunny all day and it'll rain for 20 minutes. It might rain for an hour. You never know. And that day it just started pouring. So you had two heavyweights out there slipping and sliding. It looked like they were on ice. I'm telling you, it was cool. Like they were they were. I don't think my friend enjoyed it too much. He ended up losing. And he slipped a lot, and so did the other guy. But fair is fair. Yeah. So that's probably like maybe the craziest thing I've ever seen like that. But there's horror stories. I've seen guys like have to fight in barns and like they have no warm up area, so they put some cardboard down and the guys are like warming up on top of cardboard. Like I don't know, it's crazy. It's Florida, I guess. I don't know.
So at what point in your career did you decide, you know what, I want to actually start competing? I'm good with the training. I actually want to get in there and start fighting. How did you go by getting your first fight?
Huh? In a certain way, life kind of pushed me in that way. From the age of 24, I started training, and at about 28, when I had my first child, is when I took a break, and I totally stopped training, and I kind of listened to everybody on the outside of my MMA bubble, and um, just did the whole like try to be like a 9 to 5 dude. But I started training little and little, and then by the time I was 31, I went pro pretty fast after my last amateur fight. But everything's been a whirlwind, man. It's been fast. I only have 5 or 6 years in the game, I think, at the most, and I think I'm coming on 5 years on really soon. And then but yeah, I've taken short notice fights on 2 days notice, fights on 6 days notice, 2 weeks notice. But MMA's been amazing. Everything's been amazing. It's been a nice ride so far.
You train at a very high level gym in Fusion Excel. How did you end up going there?
It's Central Florida is or Orlando, as most people would want to call it. Orlando's like the major city, and there's a bunch of surrounding smaller cities close by. And basically, what would happen at one point is everyone would train at this one guy's gym. His name is Paul Rodriguez. Um, he's a black belt under Ricardo Laborio, who helped start American Top Team. He's one of the founders of a Brazilian top team, and that dude he's basically like the OG around Orlando. Anyone that knows MMA knows Paul, because Paul competed in Pride, and like I said, he was down in Miami at ATT headquarters for a long time. So everyone from Daytona to Titusville to any area surrounding Orlando would meet up at 1 o'clock on Mondays just to spar at this big gym. And I'm talking about random people. Like, I just run into random Brazilians, and these guys have become lifelong friends. But this is before my buddy Julian Williams opened Fusion Excel, and that's where I met him basically, because he's a black belt under Paul. Um, and that's how it happened. That's kind of like how we were all in the same scene, in the same MMA scene, and compete in the same amateur leagues. Like me and Phil Rowe and a couple of other guys like Hannah Goldie and Alex Nicholson and Mike Perry. We were all at these local events, sharpening our tools. And eventually, my buddy Julian Williams opened up a real gym, and we went there. Basically, anyone that's worth any talent went there. And little by little, I think the proof is in the pudding. He's got a bunch of guys in the UFC and all types of different level of fighters. But that's how it started, and that's how I got there. They were like, the only team around basically, and Julian's really cool. Where like you get to lead you do your own thing there. Like obviously there's set MMA team practices and everything like that, but I'm the captain of my own ship, and I do things my way.
You know, during your career, you have had a lot of success at the promotion Cage Titans. So you had the belt there, right there with you. What was that like? First time fighting for a championship fight? What was going through your head? How was the pressure of that?
I think I've had like 5 or 6 championship fights, like 5 round fights, from New England to Mississippi. My first one was versus Jason Eastman in Atlas Fights somewhere in Biloxi, I believe. It's a 5 round fight at flyweight, and I loved it. I love 5 round fights. I think I do better. Um, are they long? Are they? It's a long, hard night, but I do well in those. It's I'm really good at long distance, and I feel like the longer the fight goes, the better my chances are. And yeah, I've had a lot of experience in 5 round fights, but I'm not there to stay. I'm not there on an hourly paycheck. I'm really just trying to finish guys. But my style lends for fireworks and edge of your seat. spectating where anything can happen at any time, and a lot of the times it's a lot of back and forth affair with me and the other guy giving a lot of blood and giving out a lot of pain to each other. But it's all part of the game, you know.
I think one of the things that cater to your entertaining style is your cardio. I mean, you have great cardio, and I know before you got into fighting and mixed martial arts, you used to be a cross country runner running all over Florida. Do you think that is something that has helped you in your career, maybe with the cardio?
Yeah, I really do. I do believe it's genetics and it's the I don't know. I genetics and biology and the region of the globe that I'm from. You know, I'm from Ecuador, and we're really well known for not like the Kenyans or anything in that type of long distance running, but we do have a lot of long distance athletes. We've got gold medalists in a few different things like cycling and speed walking, just different rare and different like different things out there. Kayaking, I think we have a lot of guys that do that there, and yeah, I started off running. Running's always been a passion. Um, as I got older, I seemed to enjoy it a lot more. And when I was younger, I just kind of did it. I didn't know that it would lend me a lot of use in wrestling and fighting. But looking at it now and looking at the past, yeah, I think it did. But in the '90s, there was also a really cool running movie with like I think it was damn, I think it was Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt and this one guy, God, what's this guy's name? Man, it was a really good movie. But Brad Pitt was a runner, and his stepbrother was a runner too, like a miler. Like they used to run miles, and I don't know. I really got into running because of different things. But yeah, I feel like it helps out in my fighting style, and yeah, it eats at these opponents' souls, and I get to take away a little bit of their heart every round.
So this year you've been kind of transitioning from the standard mixed martial art bouts to bare knuckle contests. What was that transition process like? How did you find your world switching over to bare knuckle?
Yeah, well, basically, I had a phone call. I didn't even have a phone call. I was looking online, and I had just got done with a fight, and I had just had hand surgery, which is fucking crazy. And they were offering a good fucking bit of cash, and it happened to be bare knuckle. I took the fight, and it was amazing. Like, I really don't have a problem with the bare knuckle part of it. I don't know. I think some people deal with pain differently, and especially in MMA, a lot of guys will shy away from the action. A lot of the times, I'm walking forward, and that's just my style. So I take a lot of not a lot of punishment, but I do take my fair share of hits in there. You know, I'm known to have a good chin, and it's not that I rely on my chin, but it's just part of my arsenal. I have a strong will. The cardio helps, but I think that all lends towards bare knuckle. I have no fear when I'm in there, and most of the time I'm just in a flow state of mind, trying to freestyle and flow through different combinations and waves of emotions and energies and stuff like that. So bare knuckle to me wasn't any different. It's all just competition. Yes, does your face look a lot more beat up afterwards? Yeah, but so does it happens in MMA too. I've been in really bad spots after MMA fights with gloves on. So it's all relative, you know. If you're it doesn't really matter to me. I'm sure there's some people that see it as more brutal, but in MMA, bare knuckle, I feel like there's a lot more options and it's easier to grapple, easier to submit, and that's something people tend to underlook or overlook. I mean, and yeah, I think they get a lot of that ideas from bare knuckle boxing, where you do see a lot of blood and cuts, and you might see some of that in bare knuckle MMA, but there tends to be more finishes, I believe, in bare knuckle MMA with having more options to finish.
Now, with it being a bare knuckle contest, does that alter your training camp at all from traditional MMA bouts, or is it basically the same thing?
No, it for me it's basically the same thing. I just might do a lot more pad work and a lot more drills, maybe bare knuckle. So I have a couple guys that hold pads for me, and they do it for me in a specific way with specific tools. Um, but besides that, it's the same conditioning, the same training, the same mindset, the same MMA practices. I just might tend to wear my small gloves a lot more than some of the guys when we spar and stuff like that. But I've always worn my small gloves to spar all my career, basically. And yeah, so the training I really don't think is much different for me, at least.
So one thing I've grown to learn from you is you're pretty chill, calm, cool dude until fight week, and then you become really, really, really intense. You know, when I saw you fight an icon back in December, there's a brawl on stage, went on the back, made for some great internet content. Why do you do it? Do you do it? Are you trying to Are you trying to raise the attentions, or trying to put spotlight on you, or trying to get the motions running? What is the thought process behind this?
You know what? I've always been asked that question a lot because that's something that I definitely provide. I feel like for the fans and for the entertainment. Um, but more than anything, I want to really get into these guys' heads and let them know that I mean business and that I'm not going. I don't need friends, and obviously after the fight, it's all respect, at least from my end. But I'm also there to fuck with them and fuck with their psyche and plant seeds of doubt. And if there is any doubts, let those blossom and take root and just take over their brain. You know, if they're that small minded and they get frustrated and they let their emotions get to them, then it's on them. It just makes it for an easier night for me. I've had opponents come out fight night after I've talk shit the whole time and they've had really bad performances, and I've had opponents come out and they come out on fire, and I really have to. They just come out really sharp. Some guys after all that, and then I have to really extinguish a lot of that. But so it's a double edged sword. But I live. You live and die by the sword. You know, I'm not here uh to hide anything or to not feel vulnerable or not be vulnerable in front of the crowd. I am who I am. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm willing to give my all inside the cage, and I want my respect outside of it as well. I'm not a mean guy or a dickhead or anything like that usually. Um, but when I'm in the fight, um, I don't know, like in that fight zone, like when I'm like at weigh-ins, that's when I really usually act a little bit psychotic. You know, I'm just in my head. You know, there's a lot of like, I know what he wants to do, and I know what his team thinks. You know, even if they have a lot of respect for you, they all think they can beat you, or they think their guy can beat you, and they say this and that. So in reality, it's to me, it's all disrespectful just to sign your name on the diet line, and I have no mercy. And like I said, if talking shit bothers that opponent, then it's on them. You know, it's on them to correct that and to shut me up and to make a highlight out of me. And if not, you're going to become a viral moment. So it is what it is.
Would you say that, fighting, MMA, competing, is it more mental than it is physical?
Yeah, I would say that. You know, there's sometimes that I've lost control inside the cage where I'm not doing things right. I'm letting the emotions and the crowd kind of sway my actions. And then there's moments where I'm able to use that and ride that momentum of energy. And I think it's really is your perspective, your outlook on what's going on. The mental game is really big, as everyone knows, in all types of sports. And but especially when you're making these last second decisions, and these things are coming at you, kicks and punches and takedowns, and you really have to make the right decision before the night might be quick. But uh, the mental is everything. But if you don't have the physical ready, then it's it's still gonna be a pretty tough night, even if you're mental strong.
So one thing that I remember that we talked about following your victory at Icon last December was you mentioned that you love fighting and you hate fighting. What is
Mhm.
that thought process behind that?
I don't know. Well, it stems a lot from I used to always love Nick Diaz, not Nate Diaz. I think a lot of people remember Nate because he's like the newer version, and I'm really old. So I'm a big Nick Diaz fan, his older brother, and he used to go in there with the same type of attitude, um, guns blazing, middle fingers in the air, and really didn't care. He just went out there and against all odds came to win and beat some really tough opponents. And that's kind of like where I'm what I'm trying to do. I also want to be remembered as one of the toughest guys around when I'm done doing this fighting thing. And more than anything, at this point, I feel like Bareknuckle, Jorge Masvidal, and Gamebred FC is giving me a big platform and opportunity to make money and provide for my family. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to uh, take my cash, and I'm here to take some souls with it too. You know, I would love to have a highlight finish at this event. I predict it's going to happen, but it's definitely a love hate thing. You know, you have to hate this a little bit in order to love it because there's a lot of suffering. I think there's somewhere in the Bible. I think someone was telling me that love is suffering. Like the actual definition in the Bible about love is suffering. And when you look at it, um, any relationship worthwhile or anything, you know, with a woman or with anything is you're gonna have to suffer a little bit and and sometimes take some heat. But at the end of the day, it's how bad you want to keep that relationship. How bad do you want this? And for me, it means everything. You know, I hate it, but it's something that I do love, and one day I'll really miss. But there's some hate behind it, of course. There's it's not me hate, it's just hate as a whole, like hate towards like I don't know, maybe society and everything. I've always felt like I was a guy that represented people and the everyday guys, you know, the plumber or the server or the bartender. I mean, I still work in the service industry. I'm a bar back at the moment at a local bar around here. So I feel like I resonate and I represent for the everyday guy and the everyday girl that's out there just trying to make enough money to put food on the table and keep shelter over your kids. You know what I mean? It's just simple as that. And there's a lot of hate in not being able to enjoy the fruits of my labor just yet. But I feel like I'm in the prime of my career, and I can only see bigger and better things coming my way. So I can't wait. And September 8th is definitely going to be another big moment in my career, and I already know there's going to be a badass finish or it's going to be a badass fight. I'm always fighting a night, so I know it's going to be like that. We have a tough opponent ahead of us, and I can only wish him well. And that's about it. I just want to kick his ass. I hate him. He's been making me run miles and making me spar and wrestle and do all this dumb shit. So there we go.
Joe, what is that grind like? Like, you mentioned you work at a restaurant in Central Florida. You got kids, you're trying to support for a family. You're also sacrificing every ounce of your life doing this fighting thing. And, people may think professional fighters make millions and millions of dollars, but it's not the case until you get to a very high point in the game. What is the grind like? And does that motivate you to go into every single contest and fight harder and better?
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly what it is, man. I look back at people like my father who came here from a third world country who still wake up every morning and work construction. No excuses. Never late. Always always tidy. Always working extra. Never asking for time off. That's the type of hard work and American ethic that that basically I want to that kind of propels me and gives me like the fuel to really do this when I think about people like my dad and like I said and the struggles that I have to go through, you know, and maybe not being able to provide the way I want to, you know. I know it might be stupid, like, you know, the kids don't need 10 Xboxes and 400 designer shirts, but I'd love to give them all the extra stuff that I could in this world. But yeah, it drives me. That definitely like spearheads like my whole like that's it's my whole essence is hard work and being just humble, dude, and being a everyday dude that doesn't give a fuck, man. I'm the guy that you can grab a beer with at the bar, that's never going to judge you. I'm the guy that all the amateurs come up to and talk to because I'm that one training partner that has no judgment, and I'm always playing the good cop to some of the bad cops that we have because we have a lot of tough coaches on our team. So I, which is kind of weird. I end up being like the nice guy to everybody. I feel like, but sometimes I shoot myself in the foot being the nice guy. But yeah, man, like that really pushes me forward, and it's all about hard work and dedication, you know, because I know hard work leads to success, and that's been my motto since I was a kid.
Another guy who had to really embrace the grind and really had to put in the hard work to achieve success is Jorge Masvidal. I mean, he had to go through a lot to get to where he was, and now obviously he has his own promotions, a wonderful career. Does he inspire you at all? I saw that you shared a few months ago a photo of you and Jorge from a few years ago when he stopped by the gym, and now to see that you've been fighting on multiple of his fight cards now, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a big deal, dude. Does he inspire you?
You know what? It's I don't like to be I don't know how to say it. Like I don't like to like bother any of these guys too much, but Jorge has been one of my favorite fighters for a long time since before he was famous. A lot of people just jumped on the Jorge Masvidal train like when he got real popping after the Darren Till fight and the Cowboy fight was before or after, you know, all those fights. But I've been watching him since the Strike Force days, and he used to have a reality TV show on YouTube. It's really like a long time ago, and I would when it was going on, it was like 2008 or 10. I don't remember, but I actually emailed his coach at the time, and I asked if he had any room, and I gave him my wrestling credentials and everything. And I forgot what he said to me. Like I don't know if he had a lot of time. Obviously, I'm like a random guy like messaging Jorge's coach or whatever. So yeah, man, I have a lot of respect for Jorge, and I really want to thank him. And the only other guy that's ever seen me the same way, I think, is Michael Pover from Cage Titans. I always say the same thing. Um, these two gentlemen seen me fight in person and saw something special. They saw the antics, they saw the entertainment value, they saw the mouthpiece, and then they saw the hard work and labor inside the cage and what I can do. And I think they were really impressed because that's I mean that's basically what they've told me. You know, they're really impressed with my fighting style and my heart, and and it's just really awesome to come full circle. I guess I really don't think about it that much because I'm always on in like the focus, like just living in the moment. But fuck yeah, man! I mean, I got one of the best fighters of all time, the BMF, the baddest motherfucker, just like, you know, acknowledging me and giving me shout outs on social media and talking about how badass I am and how great of a fighter I am. I mean, I can only take that as a big compliment. And like I said, I don't want to disappoint him, myself, or anyone else come September 8th. So I've trained really hard for this camp. It's hard for me to even take today off. You know, I took today and yesterday off, and I'll probably tomorrow I might swim or today I might run. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm taking, like I told you, a few days off to relax with the kids. play some video games, let the body heal, mentally prepare, because I know Monday through Thursday it's gonna be pretty crazy. I'm gonna get into that fight mode where I'm not gonna be that nice or whatever. I'm not gonna be that cool, and I'm not gonna want to play video games. I mean, I want to, but like I can't be around my kids much sometimes when I'm cutting weight and stuff. I'm so tired. They like a lot of attention. They're used to a lot of attention from me. So, but yeah, man, Jorge Masvidal, he's the fucking man, and I owe him and Michael Pover a lot.
So let's get into the fight. Taking on Joey Bruquette next Friday, Jacksonville, Florida. What do you think of him as a competitor? Is he a game opponent?
Yeah, he's definitely game. Comes from a great camp called Futures MMA down in a little bit South Florida. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is the same camp where Nico Price came out of, and Nico doesn't train there anymore, but there's a bunch of talented other guys, smaller weight guys there. And I know the coach Jeremiah very well, and he's very well versed at MMA. He's a really good striking coach. This guy has really good hands, but I think he prefers his legs. His legs is his best weapons. Good takedown defense. He's an all around great fighter. He fought most of his fights on Univision. It's that Spanish speaking channel, Univision, for Combate Global. That's where most of his fights are. So it's basically going to be Cage Titans versus Combate Global, and I'm taking my championship belt, and I'm taking his brain, man. I'm gonna pick him apart. I'm just gonna do what I always do. He's a good opponent, but I just don't give a fuck about him. I really don't care about what he's gonna do. I've been preparing myself strategically and tactically on exactly what I want to do. And now it's all about getting some weight off fight week, because we have to make some stupid weight, and preparing mentally, making sure I'm ready for war, and that's about it. It's a game time. I can't wait. Um, like I said, expect fireworks and expect blood, because I'm coming out swinging.
It's really amazing to see what Jorge and Dean Tool are doing with their promotions right now. I mean, they're filling big arenas. I mean, the ViStar Memorial Arena, it's a
Yeah.
huge arena in Jacksonville. Are you excited to be able to fight in front of thousands of people? I mean, is this the biggest audience you're going to have so far?
I hope. I hope. I mean, I went out the last Gamebred event. We played. We fought where the what's it called? The Florida Panthers play. So that
Oh,
was
yeah.
pretty dope. I don't know how big the ViStar Memorial Arena is, but I'm sure they're similar. Um, I For me, the bigger the event, the bigger the cage, the more eyes, the bigger the names there. Um, it's better for me. I perform better under pressure with my back against the wall and all the odds stacked against me. That's what I like. I don't care about anything else. I just want people to enjoy the fight, people to watch the fight, people to tune in, because it's going to be live streamed for free on Gamebred FC on their YouTube channel. So you're going to definitely be able to watch it. And yeah, like I can't wait to perform. If it's going to be a huge crowd there, like if it's bigger than the Florida Live Arena, then it'll be amazing. But either way, even if it was inside of a a high school gymnasium, it wouldn't matter to me. You'll still get 100% party. So all the party maniacs can go wild. We're gonna run wild all over everyone. It's gonna be crazy.
One of your teammates is going to be sharing the stage with you in that same night, Mr. Reggie Northrup. Have you been doing any training with him during this training camp at all?
Yeah, Reggie's like a really fucking. He has a great personality. He's a really cool guy, man. I never got to hang out with too many of the football players or anything back when I was in school. I was always just wrestling, and I was a dork just hanging out in the weightlifting room, eating lunch in the weightlifting room, eating lunch in the locker room. I was a crazy person back then. Um, but he's a fucking cool guy, man. He's funny. Uh, Obviously, he's a great athlete. When you look at him, you can tell. Played in the NFL, all that cool stuff. But he's a good person, man, and we do train a lot. We sometimes we'll do some shadow like little play sparring or shadow boxing, like when we're getting warmed up. I try to help him out with a few techniques or anything that I can help him out with strategy wise and stuff like that. And that's about it, man. He's a really cool guy. I can't wait to take over Jacksonville and be in Duval County. And I got a lot of friends coming out for this one. Guys from the UFC like Phil Rowe, my friend Hannah. I have a lot of people coming out to see me, and I just hope everyone brings a DD or gets an Uber. Make sure you get your shit together, drink your beers or your whatever you're gonna be drinking, and take care of yourself. But be safe. Don't drink and drive, and take care of your loved ones because it's gonna be a wild fucking night.
Obviously the fight's on Friday, but should we expect to have some entertainment Thursday at the weigh-ins?
Yeah, you should. You could always expect that. I'm coming in with a lot of piss and vinegar for this one. I just feel like uh, I don't think this guy's ready. We will see what will happen, but Thursday will be the beginning of the whole, as Jorge called it, the Joe Show. So the Joe Show begins Thursday at the weigh-ins, and we'll see Friday night where it leads to. Like I said, I'm more than ready and capable to provide everyone with 3 hard rounds. But if this guy gets hit hard, I think he might go out. So we'll see. I don't know. I might be wrong. Maybe he's really tough. Fuck if I know. But either way, I'm there to win. So I can't wait, man. I'm going in there like the last of the Mohicans, brother. I'm gonna take this guy out. Mago's going down. I'm taking his scalp and throwing him off the cliff.
The headliner for this one is extremely intriguing. Junior Dos Santos, Fabricio Verdum, two former UFC heavyweight champions. In your opinion, who do you got?
Oh, I can't disrespect none of those two monsters. They're like triple my size, dude. They're really legends in the game. Um, I for I like Dos Santos boxing, but I like Verdum's overall style better. But I don't know how that's gonna lend to bare knuckle because one shot can fuck you up. So I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'll go with Dos Santos, but I love Verdum and I love his story and career in MMA. He's an amazing guy. The only thing I didn't like was when he beat Cain Velasquez because I'm a big Cain fan, and yeah, that's about it. I just feel really privileged, and it's an honor to fight on the same card as two UFC legends.
In a perfect world, what goes down Friday night, Joe?
In a perfect world, I go out there and I give one of my best performances of all time. Um, I level change. I land a lot of hands. I kick a little. I wrestle a lot. He might get tired, and then I break him. If not, maybe a good punch or two, and I land in the right, spot. Maybe he goes down. An easy night. I'll take an easy night over anything. We will see, though. I'm there to push the pace and push the action. I always say that. There's a quote that a lot of people say. There's a guy that I used to love. His name was what's this guy? He ran for Oregon. Was it Oregon State? Yeah, I think it was Steve Prefontaine. Man, I love that guy. Maybe that's another movie I watched when I was a kid in the '90s. So I love Steve Prefontaine, and he has a quote that a lot of people online say it might not be his, but he always had a quote something about today's a good like the best pace is a suicide pace, and today's a good day to die. So that's the same shit for me. Like um, it's just my style. Unfortunately, I'm not like Mike Tyson, and I can't lay you out with one punch. And especially at 135, these guys got a lot of skills, and they can do a lot of different things. So it's hard for me to like creep up on a guy and really set that up. But what I can do is provide action, pace, volume, and a lot of heart. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. I want to see how much he can take. I know how much I can take. I want to see how much he can take. And if he's there and he's going to be willing to stand there and willing to take the pain as much as I will, because I really want it bad. And and ultimately, I feel like my heart and my will and my desire will prevail.
So, a final question for you, Joe. If things go as to plan on Friday, since you are the party, do you have any perfect party essentials that you're going to be bringing to the after party?
Oh my goodness! Since I don't get to cash my check till the next day, probably, and it's gonna be Saturday, so I have to wake up fucking early to go to the bank. They better have a fucking bank ready. They probably won't have a bank available, but either way, I could give a fuck. I'll make it till fucking Monday. But party essentials, like, dude, man, in a perfect world, I'd get to there'll be a restaurant that's easy peasy, like with wings and pizza or anything. I love seafood, anything that if they have a grill, I'd love it. You know, they could put salmon or steak or anything. But in the perfect world, right after the fight, I want a 6 pack of light beer. If it's a local brewery, it's even better. I don't like strong beers on those type of nights or on any nights usually, just because I can't drink too many of them and enjoy them. You know, I'll pass out or whatever. I'm an old man, so a 6 pack of light beer right when I get back to the locker room. I'll take a nice hot shower, clean all the blood off of me. Hopefully, I'm not too banged up and I don't got to go to anywhere like the hospital or anything. And then yeah, we're having beer and we're having wings and we're having pizza. I love wings. Hot garlic's my favorite with extra blue cheese on the side. And I love pizza. I love margarita pizzas, Bianca's, and yeah, man, pepperoni too. But yeah, or Italian or anything, just food. I love to have a food, you know. And if I could have my kids there, it'd be amazing too. I love to play some WWE 2K 23. That's what I play with my 6-year-old the most.
Well, Joe, Joe, I wish you nothing but the best next Friday. I'm sure we're all excited to see the party live in action. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, brother, and I wish you a happy weekend. I can't wait to perform September 8th live from the VyStar Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida.